Hey guys, it's Lou. I'm back for another Vinyl Finds video. I didn't participate in Record Store Day this year, and I didn't participate last year. There wasn't too much stuff that I was really all that interested in, maybe just a couple of things like the Stevie Ray Vaughan Carnegie Hall that I heard of, but that's I found out that that's available in black vinyl on Amazon and has been for quite a while. There was some Ramones stuff that I would be interested in, like the singles box set, although I'm not really a singles guy. And I think my brother-in-law got a Ramones live disc. Other than that, there wasn't too much, but I did watch a lot of YouTube videos for Record Store Day and people's pickups and really enjoyed that. So for those of you that did go out and were lucky enough to get what you wanted, congratulations, and I'll probably still watch more of those videos. The video today that I have are vinyl finds that I've picked up within the last 2 months, some stuff as recent as last Friday, and some stuff that I didn't show in some previous vinyl finds videos for one reason or another. They just slipped through the cracks, but they're all great pickups. Most of these are online pickups through Amazon, and I have some other ones that I've ordered, and that's probably another reason why I didn't go to Record Store Day, is that I have been picking up some stuff through Amazon that I think I wanted more than some of the stuff that was out for Record Store Day. So to try and keep things in check money-wise, I had those ordered. I have some other ones that I want more than what I saw was available on Record Store Day. So first of all, what we've got playing in the background, don't know how well you can hear, it's kind of low. The Ramones, and this is obviously the Ramones' first album. And again, I said, I think it was Mitch Wood showed the Ramones singles box, which looked pretty nice. I think it was a collection of 10 45s. And like I said, I know there was also a Ramones live disc that was out there as well, which I would have been interested in. I've got, I think, three Ramones albums. I've got this one, Road to Ruin and End of a Century. I also have the Joey Ramone solo album, Don't Worry About Me, and a Joey Ramone Christmas 10-inch that has 5 songs. And hopefully I'll be picking up maybe Leave Home or Rocket to Russia, or both, over the next little while. But fan of the Ramones, really dig their stuff, and congrats to you guys that got the Record Store Day releases. Next, we have the Pixies Head Carrier. This is the Pixies release from most recent release. I think it came out late last year. I'm a big Pixies fan. Obviously the first 4 albums are the classic era Pixies, but this one is very good. I do have the Indie Cindy release from a few years ago, and I like that one a lot. Obviously Kim Deal has left the band by this point, and the replacement, Paz, who I don't know her work very much, but I know she was in that band that Billy Corgan had for a while there called Swan. Paz does a great job on bass and backing vocals, and has one lead vocal track on this album. It sounds like quite a bit like some older Pixies songs, and this album is quite good. Again, I wouldn't put it up against the classic 4 original releases, but Indie Cindy, that album, and this album are quite good, and I think people who write off the Pixies as not being able to produce some good material, I think you're missing out. So this is, I enjoyed this release, and it's quite good. Gatefold. There's the back. Next we have some blues. Howlin' Wolf, Real Folk Blues. I've got a few Howling Wolf on vinyl. I have the London sessions that he did with Eric Clapton and Steve Winwood, and I think Charlie Watts and Bill Wyman are on that as well. But most of my Howling Wolf is on CD. This series, The Real Folk Blues, is actually quite good. I've got a couple from this series, and there's some good stuff on here. You got to have some Howling Wolf in your collection, and I'd recommend this one. This one is quite good. It's got some classic stuff. Killing Floor is on here. What else is on here? Nature is a good song. Sitting on Top of the World is another classic Howling Wolf track. So this is highly recommended. I think the next one of that series that I'm probably going to get is one for Sonny Boy Williamson. There's also John Lee Hooker one in that series that is quite good, but I think it's fairly expensive. It probably could do with a re-release. We have another classic blues, The Best of Muddy Waters. And as far as as the story goes, this is the album. This is a reissue of it, but this is the original is the album that either Keith Richards or Mick Jagger had when one met the other, and they realized that they had a shared liking for the blues, and they would go and listen to each other's records, and that's what kind of started the whole Stones legacy. This has got classic classic Muddy Waters on it. Honeybee, I'm Ready, Hoochie Coochie Man. There's some great stuff on here, and of course this is the reissue, but excellent blues, Muddy Waters. I've got tons of Muddy Waters on CD. Some really good selections available there. And I thought to start out my Muddy Waters collection on vinyl, I needed to get sort of something that covered all boundaries with this best of. Next, Ween, the brothers Ween, Dean and Gene. This is a Ween live album, God, Ween, Satan Live. It's them doing that album in its entirety live. This is recorded, I believe, in 1991. No, sorry, not 1991, 2001. This is a double vinyl. I'll show you the gatefold on this one. I'm a sort of casual Ween fan. I've got a lot of their stuff, but certainly I don't have everything that they've recorded. This is a great live album. Chocolate and Cheese is one of my favorite Ween albums. Spirit of 76, that song, Voodoo Lady, some of those. I got into Ween back in the 90s, and like I said, I've got some of their albums. I got their country album, 12 Golden Greats. This is a very good live album, and I hope to get some more Ween on vinyl. Next, you've seen me before show Love and their album Forever Changes as part of my top psychedelic albums of all time. This one is called Black Beauty. This, as far as I know, is a previously unreleased Love album that came after the original lineup had split up. So I would certainly recommend getting those first three albums first. Decap, or the self-titled Decapo and Forever Changes, and also For Sale with the new Love lineup. I would probably get one of those first. Black Beauty, but this is very good. This is, like I said, it was previously a lost album, unreleased album, and when I saw it was available on vinyl, I picked it up. And next we have Nick Cave, Push the Sky Away. This is Nick Cave's second most recent album. I believe this was out in 2015. I was watching a little Nick Cave live on YouTube from this particular tour, and I just thought, wow, these are really good songs. And I saw one of his Glastonbury performances around this time as well, so I decided to get this album. Very cool. I'm a very casual Nick Cave fan. I had a CD of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds Best Of, when I thought, okay, I don't have any Nick Cave on vinyl, so I need some. So like I said, I saw some of the live performances from this tour, decided to get this album. I would highly recommend this. Excuse me. For anybody who's interested in Nick Cave, I got his most recent CD last year as well. And also Nick Cave, a classic Nick Cave, as far as I'm aware, Let Love In. I think this is back from the 80s or the 90s. And like I said, I want to get some Nick Cave on vinyl in my collection, so I got Push the Sky Away as a more recent representation of Nick Cave, and then some classic Nick Cave as well. I'm a big fan of The Jam, less of a fan of Style Council, so as you could probably tell, a fan of Paul Weller. I've got all of Paul Weller's albums on CD, and then I thought, you know what, I don't have very much on vinyl. The only one I had up until this point was Wake Up the Nation, one of his later day albums, and I also had one of his greatest hits collections called More Modern Classics, which focuses in on, I think, from his fifth album and onward. One of my favorite Paul Weller solo albums that I needed to get on vinyl is Heavy Soul. This is Paul Weller's fourth studio album, fourth solo studio album, back from the 90s, I believe 96, 97. Well-known songs off of this are Peacock Suit, Friday Street, Up in Susie's Room. This is the album after his major hit album Stanley Road, and I actually saw Paul Weller on this tour. He was excellent, and this album is probably my favorite solo Paul Weller album. This and Stanley Road, Wildwood. You can't go wrong with any of that earlier Paul Weller, and he continues to make great albums to this day, as evidenced by his last and most recent release in 2015, Saturn's Pattern. I got this, I had it on CD, like I mentioned before, and Paul Weller has a new album coming out this year called The Kind of Revolution, and I thought, you know, sort of to get ready for that, I'll get his most recent one on vinyl, and this has a nice gatefold as well. Paul Weller's not very well known in North America like he is in the UK, and I'm not quite sure what that is. I saw a most recent video, I think he's had it there since last year, from Dead Wax 66, who showed off his Paul Weller collection, and boy was I jealous. He's got all the Weller that I've got on CD, he's got that on vinyl, and he made a lot of good points about Weller being a great artist and being very popular in the UK, but not very popular here in North America, which I can't really quite understand. I think the Jam, you know, there are a few Jam fans out there and less Style Council fans out there and Weller solo fans, but certainly not to the extent of the UK, where Weller will play huge venues like Hyde Park, but here he'll play like smaller clubs and theaters. So for those of you who don't know his work, I would recommend it. Maybe start off with the Jam and then get some of the solo stuff. That's it for vinyl. I have and I don't usually show CDs, but I've got a couple of CDs that I picked up, and I got them One reason is that they're good albums. The second one is they weren't available, or at least couldn't find them on vinyl. But there's a connection between these two CDs. For those of you that have been watching my videos, you know that I'm a big Bowie fan, and I thought Black Star was an amazing album. Probably my favorite album from 2000 and was it 16 that it came out? No, 2015. I don't know. Anyway, it was my favorite album that year. Big fan of Black Star, and I most recently ordered the No Plan EP, so I'm waiting for that to come. I thought the band that Bowie had on Black Star sounded amazing, so I ended up finding this release, which is for the Donny McCaslin group. This is the jazz band from New York that plays on Black Star. So I would highly recommend this if you enjoy the musical part of Black Star. This band, Donny McCaslin, live actually performs a couple of Bowie tracks. They do a great instrumental version of Lazarus from Black Star. And I would highly recommend this CD. This is sort of a jazz fusion, but you definitely hear the stylings that are on Black Star on this. There is a version on this of the Bowie song A Small Plot of Land. It's one of the lesser known Bowie songs. That's from originally the Bowie Outside LP. And I actually think the version that's on this is better. It's got vocals, but they're not from David Bowie. They're from a guy named Jeff. I'm not really sure what his last name is, or Jeff Taylor perhaps. But this is a nice sort of jazz fusion type album. And again, if you like the Black Star album, the way it sounds, I would recommend picking up this CD, Beyond Now, Donny McCaslin Group. And the second CD, also related to David Bowie, is from one of Bowie's former guitar players, Earl Slick. This is back, I believe, from 2003. Earl Slick's album, quite good. Bowie guests on this on vocals on one track. There's one track, which is also another great song, from Robert Smith on vocals. There's a track from Joe Elliott from Def Leppard on vocals. I believe that's all of the vocal tracks that are on here. There's some great guitar on this album from Earl Slick. So those of you that are a fan of Earl Slick, played with Bowie. I think he started playing in the mid-70s with Bowie around the time of Station to Station. I know, I think a couple of riffs from Station to Station, like the Stay riff, was, I believe, written by Earl Slick. And I know Earl Slick played on Bowie's Serious Moonlight tour in '83 when Stevie Ray Vaughan could not tour, or that didn't work out, and Stevie Ray Vaughan did not do the Bowie tour. He was on the Let's Dance album, of course. So Earl Slick filled in. So I would recommend this. I got this for a few bucks online. And it's definitely, I was in a phase where I really wanted to hear some Bowie stuff, so that's why I got the Donny McCaslin, and the Earl Slick stuff was sort of Bowie related stuff. But I would highly recommend these two CDs to you. Okay guys, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. I want to thank anybody who has subscribed to my channel, and also anyone who's who have made comments on my videos. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time.